Good evening, everyone. Today I want to talk about Cardano, both the USD and Bitcoin pairings. Right here, I do have the 4-hour Cardano chart with the Bitcoin pairing, and after its impressive run up to almost 2,000 sats, just breaking down right under 2,000 sats, we've seen Cardano lose most of its value from the run up, but that has to do with Bitcoin outperforming every other altcoin out there in the space. So looking at the MACD, we can see a little bit of bullish divergence. You can see a double bottom in price action and weaker levels of red momentum on the MACD, followed by a higher low on the RSI. And after that, we did see another gradual decline of red momentum here, and before we spiked up a little bit, still inside this pennant, forming another level of resistance here. And then we actually fell through and ended up making this big red blob of red momentum. Now, this is actually called hidden bullish divergence. This is when we see our indicator telling us one thing, but price action is giving us another outcome. And with this little break, we still saw our RSI trend holding pretty strong over here. We have yet to break down under this. So this does lead me to believe that there's still a bullish case for Cardano. And this doesn't necessarily mean that Cardano will make a new high, but it does set you up for potential low risk trade, where you have all these signals coming together, the higher lows, the bullish divergence, the RSI trend holding. I'm looking to see if Cardano can hit a retrace of 38.2% from its previous high to most recent bottom. It would pretty much set us up for around 1,319 sats. So real quick, I want to point out something that EOS did that Cardano could potentially do. Let's pull it out over here. So over here you can see how EOS has been making higher lows, and it was stuck in this pennant as well, and then it ended up breaking to the upside. To me, it's looking like Cardano could not exactly replicate that, but could do something similar to what EOS did. And EOS is still making higher prices even after this drop that we had with Bitcoin. So I'm just going to skim over the daily real quick for Cardano before I move on to the USD pairings. And over here you can see Cardano in this descending browning wedge, breaking out, then dropping and solidifying previous resistance as support. This orange line here represents a critical level of resistance stemming back from the right shoulder and left shoulder of the inverse head and shoulders pattern that we had before. 88 does need to break this so that we can see higher prices. It's pretty critical for it. Now here's the case for the US dollar pairing. So the most obvious thing that you see here is the inverse head and shoulders pattern, but it's not just that. We also have an ascending triangle pattern forming for Cardano. Let me just pull it back over there. Fix this. There you go. And not only that, but we also have two cups with handles forming for Cardano, this is all bullish signals going on. Do a couple arcs. So we have this massive cup followed by the handle. And then we have, on a much smaller scale, the handle, which is acting as a smaller cup. And then we have the handle right here. Now, if Bitcoin were to break out of whatever pattern you want to call this, whether it's a cup and handle, the inverse head and shoulders, or the ascending triangle, that could potentially lead us to a 38.2 retrace. Let me go back for a second. There we go. Which would be almost 17 cents for Cardano for the US dollar pairings. And of course, this is all assuming that Cardano is going through this trend change right now, after we break out of all the patterns going on over here. Now, that's pretty much all I have for Cardano. I'm going to do a quick look on Bitcoin before I hop off. Take a look at Bitcoin real quick. So yesterday we did see prices drop pretty drastically. After breaking that $9,000 barrier, right now it looks like Bitcoin is recovering nicely, and it is still in the realm of bouncing off the support from our ascending browning wedge. But aside from that, Bitcoin is still bouncing off of its RSI trend that we've had since pretty much the beginning of January. It has yet to break this major trend, and it's a pretty big trend that Bitcoin has. The longer the trend, the more reliable the signals are, whether it breaks up or below it. Now, on the daily for Bitcoin, here we go. So on the daily, Bitcoin has yet to break down from its ascending wedge, but apart from that, over here we can see Bitcoin did break under its RSI trend on the daily scale. Now it's starting to show some bearish divergence. Let me go ahead and draw that line real quick. So there's red there. We can go ahead and do the higher high there. So it broke under the trend line, and it also used it as resistance a couple times, which isn't usually the best case. And it does seem that it's also showing some bearish divergence on the MACD as well, forming this lower level of green momentum. So that could lead me to believe that maybe a deeper correction is on the horizon. I want to see price action form a lower high before I make any decisions whether I want to short or long this again. But I'll definitely update you guys on this tomorrow. So that's all I pretty much have for you today. If you found any of this interesting, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for future market updates. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.